Hi there. This is Adrienne, and
This is Margaret, Mother All.
we're a couple of goddesses who are living our purpose out in the world. My project's name is Team Gaia, and it empowers each of us to become Gaia world-changing ninjas, and that means really living your purpose. Margaret, what's your work?
My work, I'm an energy healer and intuitive, and I work on individual level, and I also work on planetary level, and I do some writing.
Margaret wanted to have a genius session, and we thought it would be really fun to do a sample genius session for you here. Now, the full genius session is something that I offer through Zoom so that you can see the potential of your full expression in the world. For over 30 years, I've been incredibly good at spotting the greatness and the genius in people. And when they listened to my advice, even when I was a little wee kid, they would start these wonderful careers that would give them so much joy. You know, it's so silly, but like the first time that I did it was with my aunt. You know, she was in her 30s and she was thinking about taking a job at the library, the public library in our town. And I was like, and she was like, ew, I don't know if I should do it. Librarians, they're so stuffy. They're, you know, libraries are boring. And I was like, wait, I can see this. I was probably like 8 or 9. I was like, I think you should do this. And turned out she had like a 35-year career at the public library. She pretty much like runs the place, and she's loved every moment of it. And it's been her hub. Actually, as a very sociable Sagittarius, it turned out to be like the hub for the city. And it was her little place to have total influence. So even though she thought that being a librarian was going to be like really stuffy and boring, it turned out to be like her bliss career. And so that was the first time that I ever gave career guidance. And I was like only 8 or 9. And since then, I've done this for probably, hundreds of people. Best friends, you know, professors. I could just always see like the profitable opportunity that was in front of them. And so sharing that in the genius session is something that I'm really looking forward to doing with you, because the only problem with doing this for Margaret is Margaret and I have known each other for years. And so I'm going to have to get into a space where I'm looking at her and her potential brand new, because I know so much about her work already. And I'm always learning more about the transformations that she's gotten for her clients through wildmothermedicine.com. Yeah. Is that the best website to reach you at?
Yeah.
And don't you do like animal intuitive healing, right?
Yeah, mediumship, whatever.
Yeah, she's like an all-purpose goddess here. And she's had very high-profile clients. So there's a lot I already know about you, and I don't really know what's going to happen when I jump into the genius zone part. Well, digging into your etheric.
Well, let me tell you is that I'm kind of in a revamping and changing, like kind of phoenix from the ashes type moment in my life. And so whatever new direction, maybe I got more genius. I don't know.
I know. We almost don't even talk about anything other than focus on your genius zone. That's where you're going to find your love, your money, your connections, your joy, right? Because it's more fun than doing anything else, right? I've spent like 35 years in classrooms as a journalist. And also as a waitress and a property manager, you know, lots and lots of mundane jobs. And all of those were building me to become a stronger person and understand Team Gaia's mission, which is to create workplaces, housing, education, based on the heart. In other words, the whole human infrastructure needs an upgrade. And if we use the heart and the templates of the heart to create the new, then we are going to have a changed world without having to burn the old one down. We'll just elegantly shift into a brand new iteration of who we are.
Lift up the world and the old stuff just kind of melts.
Yeah, it's sort of like a kaleidoscope. Have you ever looked through one of those old
Yeah.
kaleidoscopes where you've got this beautiful crystalline pattern and then you just barely turn it and it makes a brand new pattern just by having barely turned it. Well, when we take our the world that we have is sort of built around the third chakra, you know, that solar plexus, golden light chakra, that has been amazing for creating infrastructure, but it hasn't been that great for dignifying the human being. You know, it's the third chakra is based on power over, either or, I win or you win, you know, or win lose, you know, that kind of thing. But when we just barely shift up to the radio station of the heart, then all of the matter, all of the vibration, all of the arrangement of molecules that we call this world,
Right.
are going to shift into a heart-based configuration. So that's what Team Gaia is here to do. And I'm like getting warm now. I think I'll take my jacket off. So that's what our work is. And I think Margaret and I probably don't even talk about anything other than living in our genius zone. But she wanted to have a demo so that people could see what it is that I do with you. And you could have an idea of what it is that you're actually getting if you decide to have this 1.5-hour genius session with me.
Right.
Cool. So our video is probably going to be a lot shorter. Like I said, it's just a demo, but you'll see how I work and you'll see what it looks like as somebody fully aligns into their genius once again. Okay.
Nervous.
I know, right? Okay. But we live in our genius zone like all the time. Like we just do that all the time. Okay. All right. So Margaret, I'd like to start with a question, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything that you would benefit? What's the biggest benefit you feel that you might get from knowing more about your genius zone?
Confidence, motivation, enthusiastic energy to, like, you know, fulfill it. Maybe seeing myself clear that I don't normally look at. I mean, I'm just as like everybody else. I, you know, often see my downfalls and my flaws more than my golden shadow self. Okay. So I'd like to wear a different costume, a different energy field, I guess. I don't know. It feels like I would feel more blessed.
Okay.
That's a good word for that. Yeah.
I think that is really what the genius session is kind of here to do, is to show you a different view of yourself, a view from like the bird's eye perspective, and say, hey, look, this is what I see. You know, go forth and be awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's like the whole purpose of it, really. Just to like, yes, you are correct. Everything you ever suspected about yourself is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Right? I think that they say that all of us are only waiting for on some level or other before we like some level of our inner permission, you know, from cosmic mom and dad or whatever, or the earth, all the animals, you know, we just are looking for some permission to go and do the things we want to do anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Do you want to tell me for just a moment what you feel sometimes holds you back from just like fully stepping into your genius zone? Or I know, not. I was going to say, where do you think your genius zone might be? Then we'll ask the hard question.
Okay, I was getting a answer for the hard question, but it might be the same answer as what question?
Okay, so
Where do I think it is?
where do you think your genius is?
Okay.
Where would you think your genius is?
I'm getting, even though I haven't done it much, but I feel like it's on stage.
Ooh.
Okay, and I'm like getting, before you were talking about it, I was like feeling, this is stage fright. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. Audience, right? You know, you're just talking to your potential clients and your current clients.
No, I just felt natural. Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to be myself and entertain people and have them enjoy it.
I like it.
Okay. I mean, I want to say wise things, but the laugh is even better. Okay.
Right.
You know, the laugh is one of the things about being a healer, or when I was a massage therapist, is like I always said, like, you know, my clients are happy when I'm done with them. It's not like being a meter maid where they, you know, like having a job where people always hate you, you know?
Right, where you do your job well.
So, you know, I like to entertain and have people laugh and feel better about themselves, you know?
Awesome.
So.
Oh my God, that would be so cool. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna let all that go. Oh yeah, so I was gonna say, so
Well, I get to be a real hermit, which doesn't really do much for getting on stage or talking to
you even
people.
work out of your house, right?
I work out of my house. I live up on this little mountain town. Okay, so
So it's easy to get, like,
and I feel like you know, I used to do comedy improv with a group, and so working with like a group, I feel like having a group or of like-minded people to work with is really helpful.
That's so true.
You know, you know, if you're going to do, I've done productions, but you have a lot of people, and like, you know, for quite a few years now, I've been really like Miss Hermit, you know.
Oh, so okay.
So
Thank you for sharing that. That's very true. Also, why, right?
yeah, I mean, it's not like, I just always fell into it, you know. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna pursue it, you know, but I just have so much joy. I always say, put me on a stage with a microphone and I'm just like so happy, you know, and I don't have stage fright once I get up there.
I personally,
I mean, I bomb sometimes, but you know, like whatever. Yeah, drunk is good. So, yeah, you go with a dirty joke, they like it. So
I love it. You're naughty.
I know.
You're a naughty lady.
Yeah, this is my Frankie baby.
Oh, I see all the she's got right now are babies.
He's the oldest.
6 months old.
He's like the oldest, and the two little girls are just like 5 weeks or so, 6 weeks. Yeah, it's my new family. The crown chakra. So selenite is for the crown chakra. So you're getting connected there, boy.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, this is. All right. All right. So thank you for giving me some orientation. Now I'm going to go ahead and dive in deep to my heart portal and just work with you. So I'll probably be looking at you on this screen.
Okay, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that makes it good. Let's find out.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. So as we settle on in the base of our seats and the base of our feet,
Okay.
and just all the etheric layers that live way up here, let's bring them all in into our embodiment, into our library of information. And we breathe in deeply and allow those etheric petals to settle where they will, but come in a little closer. Wonderful. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So the first image I'm getting, Margaret, when I was talking about etheric petals, was I got an image of a rose. And what's wonderful about a rose, of course, is that it is perfectly itself. And it already has an innate elegance and an innate being. Now, the kind of rose that I was seeing is sort of in that, that orange, yellow, amber, like with a little bit of blush to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really in a relaxed and open state, but fully blossomed. So a rose can go through many different phases, from the bud to the beginner to opening a little, and then it's at that relaxed and open state. And then about a day after that, like the fragrance comes out. And then it only lasts for maybe at the longest a week or so before it starts to fade. Okay. Now, being in our midlife, we've done this many times. But right now, what I see in your essence is that you're at that prime spot.
Okay.
What are you?
And I don't have to fade tomorrow.
What's that?
I don't have to fade tomorrow.
You don't have to fade tomorrow. No, God, that would suck, right? No. What God's trying to tell me
okay, let's listen.
Is that your manifestation is complete and abundant and juicy and full, just exactly as you are. And the best way to keep it going that way is to laugh a lot. Holy shit. We're going to have to up our laughter quotient by 3 or 4 times. What are we going to do? Oh no, but that's probably good though. If we laugh a lot, maybe we'll stop being serious and maybe we'll forget to build a business. But I think, according to what God is telling me, and this rose doesn't have any thorns, by the way, which is really interesting.
Oh, that's nice.
It's got a beautiful, smooth stem.
I already picked them up and threw them at certain people.
Yeah, exactly. You used them up. They're fine. You didn't need to have them anymore. You're taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing because... the rose is definitely a wonderful metaphor for women's spiritual unfolding, right? Mm-hmm. And especially regarding our thorns and stuff too, that, sometimes we have to have thorns, but isn't it even more wonderful when we know we're so taken care of that we don't even have to have thorns anymore. We're good. We're done. We're protected. Apparently laughter is going to be a wonderful ingredient for keeping in that juicy flow, in that sweet spot right where we live. And so oddly enough, for each of us, I think this is an incredible message I'm getting for all of us goddesses, staying in that zone where it's not too much or too little, but staying right in that Gulf Stream. That place where the most energy, that vortex is, mm-hmm. as Abraham Hicks calls it, staying right in that Gulf Stream, that, I'm thinking of Finding Nemo, when they hit that wonderful stream over by the Barrier Reef. And, they're right in the slipstream. Staying in that is like almost the only thing that a gifted, talented goddess has to do to make life work out. Yeah, then you're like a manifesting machine in a good way. You know what I'm talking about, like a silly way. So that's the big message I'm getting for you right now. So let me see if I can go. That's like message number 1. Let's see if I can go in a little deeper or explore some of the periphery. Is there anything more about this image or this lesson that you want to explore?
Well, it's interesting because I do work with animals and the planet, and every once in a while, like animals or something will come to me for help. And, the oceans are in trouble right now, and the fish are losing their kind of radar about where to go, and they're getting sick. And they wanted me to help them, like they needed to pass on to the next current. They called it the current. And so I helped them like get on to the next current, and then they could heal in that current and go to the next like world. And then I also saw like the ocean before all the pollution, and it was like the happiest, like most magical place ever. Swimming around in there and all the colors, and catching a current, like surfing underwater and stuff. It was like really awesome to see that and be in that. So I understood what you meant by the current.
Wouldn't that be wild if like one of the only things we really have to do to be as manifested and wealthy and creative and giving as we want is just to find whatever it takes to stay in that vortex, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some serious wisdom there to staying in the vortex, staying in the sweet spot of where all of your energy is really converging. And I hear that on the highest level of that sweet spot, everything gets really funny. I've experienced it a few times where like everything's a pun of everything else. Everything's like a really silly metaphor, and like when you're in that, and it happens on mushrooms and things like that, I'm sure. When you get to that wonderful state.
Gonna go in a video.
Yeah.
All right.
People need to know.
Okay.
Anyway, I haven't for a while, so this is when you're in the most wonderful state.
And I think it's no coincidence that I suddenly got myself 3 kittens. And I mean, nature really has a sense of humor when you look at animals. I mean, they're always playing, teasing each other, and it's like a game. It's funny. They totally have a sense of humor.
Yeah, I know.
I've got all these little kittens running around.
I know. And they like not even taking themselves seriously, but they're silly at the same time, and they know it.
Right.
They kind of know they're silly.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's just great.
When I was watching your big cat play with the littlest cat, and he was like going at her, he would like try and poke her and get her to like hit him back. Every once in a while, when she would take it too seriously, he'd go and he'd roll on his back and flap his paws around so that she would know that this was just a game.
Right.
It's like, come on, I'm just trying to get you to head at me. Come on.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Okay, so
I'm gonna bring the energy on down. I want to let's ask a next question. Yeah, would you like to have a question answered? Anything at all about like your ultimate livelihood, or do you have any questions about where you would want this session to go?
Well, one question comes like next steps.
Okay.
Right now, I kind of feel like I don't really care where I end up as long as I'm like happy and in the current. Okay.
I would agree.
But
Right?
what next steps would be like, you know, if I'm on a surfboard, like where do I go? Like to get the best current. What's the best current? What are the
Right.
steps? Some steps, like next steps, I guess.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's wonderful. Yeah, isn't it so much of my psychic work? I don't know about you as a reader too, but there usually starts with like a visual image, and then like the image as we explore it, it unfolds more and more. So like this idea of the surfing too, there's like a part of the wave where things are really moving too fast, and some that where it's not moving, it's too stagnant, and then there's a place that where it's like just on the verge of like some really cool energy.
Just get into paradise.
The paradise vibe.
Paradise flow, you know.
Exactly.
I'm from Southern California, so surfing images are.
Oh yeah, Team Gaia is like all about surfing images. The logo for Team Gaia is a wave.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I use a lot of wave imagery.
Yeah.
Surfing is a great way to stay in the flow while you're also out. This has a great metaphor, you know.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So what's fascinating, what I've noticed, what I'm is that all of the tools and preliminaries and all of the parts that you've laid down is kind of like getting the soil of the garden ready. More metaphors, right? Like nice, turned, fertile, loamy soil that's like, it's just moist enough, it's just right, it's just at the ripe moment. So I am imagining that as you are moving forward with anything that you really, really, really want to create, like, you know, just coming from a place of pure creativity, like what would be the yummiest thing to create? All of those tools that you've already assembled are going to like suddenly magnetize and come into usefulness right at that moment. You'll be like, oh, I really wish I had an autoresponder. Oh, I really wish I had a course builder. Oh, I really wish I had an idea of how to do this on Facebook or whatever it is. Right. You know, that all of that preliminary work that has been done is actually there. It was all there to turn the soil and to create like a nice loamy. I always want to say loamy, a nice loamy, fertile. Yeah, they're very benign. They're super good worms. They're the best worms. You got to have worms if you want living soil.
Right.
You got to have it. And even really living soil's got like micro worms. You know, all levels of it is alive. So let's accept that you've created this wonderful fertile soil, and it's just there, and it's just ready. And now the question being, so I'm going to go ahead and go in a little deeper here, and I might not say anything for a moment or two.
Okay.
How amazing. Okay, so what I'm getting a sense of an external hand coming in with like almost an orange seed, like an external hand coming in and planting a seed. And so what I'm wondering is if part of your greatest joy would be to take up a project. Maybe it's even like affiliate marketing, you know, where like you're promoting a product or something that you just really, really like. I'm seeing like an outer seed being planted, but no, I think it's yours. I think it's your orange seed. And
is it like somebody planting it? Planted, or
maybe it's coming in as a brand new idea, something that you didn't even see coming, but then all of a sudden you like, when you see it, you recognize it as being the right thing. And I really am. I'm seeing it like an orange seed. That is to say, it's got a white hull, you know, I mean, it's an orange seed, just like what we had this morning. So let me go ahead and dive a little deeper into that and see what's going on. Yeah, my first impulse was, oh, well, maybe this is going to be like affiliate marketing, you know, like you find a product that you really, really like, and you're just going to like put all of your creativity behind promoting that that product and that message. And I do have, I've been looking at the Amino Active products, and they're offering like an affiliate program that has 0 down, 0 minimums. Like all you do is you tell people about it, and if they happen to buy it, you get like 10% and up. So it's like they just cut the store out, they cut the retailer out, and just decided to give it back to the people, which I think is pretty ingenious. But let's see what else that orange seed could possibly be. So yeah, I'm seeing now it really is your hand. What's going to be fun, the greatest part about psychic sessions, but also especially about the genius session, is that you could look back on this, like something will happen in like the next 3 days to a week that'll be like so ridiculously appropriate that we saw an orange seed, but we don't know what that is right now. Okay. I love that part, right? Don't you love that part about living in the multiverse? That's like my favorite. So there's probably something really silly that's going to come up, like you're going to go to Disneyland or something silly, like, you know, Orange County, yeah, something really, really literal that's going to happen, that's going to make the orange seed make even more sense. Huh. I know, it's nutty. But let's see if I can take this even deeper. So an orange seed is meant to be a tree. And a tree is a great metaphor for your empire, as we were calling it, where all the different parts of all the things that you're so good at, right? Because like there's 4 or 5 things that you're so good at that seem like they're almost unrelated, but the thing that ties them all together is you, right? They're all branches of the same tree. So what are those branches? Writing, facilitating, right? And that would probably include the speaking, improv, acting. So that plus facilitating is actually kind of the same thing. So writing is its own thing. Facilitating and speaking and entertaining is kind of its own thing. They might branch out from each other a little bit. Yeah. Let's see what else we've got. We've got your social justice expose and comforting counseling work. I'm actually seeing that when you're successful with the book that you're writing, that you are going to be able to give great comfort and confidence to other people who are in a whistleblower situation. Right. So that'll feel really good. Yeah. Because you will have not only survived, but prevailed. And that's something that's coming up for you this year. Oh my God, what are we? We're almost in June. That's nuts. So by the end of the year, you will have prevailed. You will know that you are prevailing and have already prevailed. That makes wonderful sense. Yeah. Yeah, it's time. By the end of December, you'll be like, I made it. I did it. Yeah. So that's really cool. I feel like there's one more thing. You know what I'm getting? Okay, guys, this is crazy. Okay, Margaret, you're a great reader, but it's almost recreational for you. Like, I think that's what you do with your readings. And I'm seeing the animal heart, featuring more. And this is kind of like what you do for fun. You know what I mean? It's really fun for me. Yeah. It's like falling off a log, you know, it's like really easy and really fun. And yeah. And I love how so many men have never had second thoughts about calling you psychic. Yeah, I mean, like I get like businessmen and lawyers, and you know, they like to keep it a secret that they call me like I'm their secret weapon. Your secret, you're like a secret oracle, right? It's like this whole Delphi thing going on. But yeah. And I think part of it is because I grew up with really great men and I respect them. So, that's true. I've never seen you vilify men like as a group. Not as a group, just specific ones that really are villains. Right. And that's just because they're villains. They know they're dogs.
They know it.
They know.
They know.
I did it on purpose. Okay. You
Next.
love men and men love you. So that's an amazing. Not every psychic has the same profile. And you've got some like really cool stuff going on. But this stuff about doing sessions and working with animals and working with people, that's like, it's kind of like what you do for fun.
Yeah, it is. It's like total fun. Yeah.
So cool. That's so cool. But what's really exciting is that this overall book, it seems from the highest point that I'm coming from right now, that it's really and I don't know, like as a 3D person who's like a writing coach, I don't know quite how you're going to do it, except that somehow you're going to slip into that slipstream and that's just going to start coming out. And before you know it, you will have whipped it together and you'll just be like, oh, there it is.
So can we take that little section a little deeper? Because I'm really like, that's my current big project. And
Okay.
they say writers always have trouble writing. Okay. And just like, I don't know, lifting something or getting into that current, I don't know, like if there's anything to help me, like just, it's all there. You know, it's all right there.
Right. I think I'm getting something. Okay. So what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing is that you go on walks and you go to the gym, like that your morning thing, I'm actually seeing that while you just, the way that you're going to be able to trigger your brain into knowing that it's in work mode is that, I know this is going to suck a little, but it doesn't have to happen until like even 9:30 a.m. But that what you do,
have to get up earlier.
You don't just have to get up earlier. You have to like get dressed after getting up. No,
I have to get dressed.
Okay.
By 2, right?
Yeah. As long as you don't spend too much time. What I'm getting is that
attention units.
Right? Like that psychic, yeah, that psychic money bag you wake up with every morning, and then or like psychic pigeon food bag, right? And then we end up spending it all by like 11 a.m. just on
Just stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you ever notice, like, when you go out and you run errands, you, like, feel so incredibly powerful, and you've got so much energy and motion that, like, you just accidentally suddenly get some work done. Like, when you're in motion, you stay in motion. So what I'm
getting, sometimes it's good for me just to, like, take a drive or something.
What I'm getting is that you kind of have to, in the most joyous and easygoing way, kind of hit the ground running every morning. That if you go out and you get to the gym, like it's very close and close on. I know. Okay, I love trying to negotiate. Like, is there any other way to do this?
Is this for the feet or the legs? Okay.
It's for the rider muscle. Like, if you take a walk, you know, in a scenic area, you know, around your lake or any place like that, just take a little walk in nature. And you kind of get the chi moving quickly early. Then you come home and you can, then you're actually ready to almost laze. But if for what I'm getting is that if you can get yourself in motion, just be like, this is what I do first thing in the morning. And I don't care if you don't like me without makeup. This is me.
Right.
If you get into motion in some way or other first thing in the morning, and you know this is only for like the next 2 months, and although it could become a really healthy habit, then when you come home 45 minutes later, maybe you hit the shower so that you stay in motion. And then you give yourself some breakfast. So anything you do after that's going to end up just really being a plus. And what will have happened is while you were in motion, you're like building up all these ideas about what you want to do with your project, with your book.
Yeah.
So yeah, creating a book, like, okay, guys, if you've never tried to write a book before, I'm going to just like give you the skinny here. When you know you're creating something and it doesn't exist yet, there's a lot of performance anxiety around that. Like, how is this thing? Like, I don't even know how God created the world. Like, God, if there were a God, like he'd be all like angsting about it if he really knew. He must have just burped and passed out and like we just got here. Because like you can't, it's very, very challenging to go, I want to create something now. It's pretty challenging. So if you've been in school and you're still on a roll, anytime that you're on a roll, you should try and stay on a roll, I guess is the deal. So I don't know, Margaret, how that feels, but if it will be a powerful psychological cue that this is not business as usual, that we're in work mode now.
I'll be adulting.
You'll adult, and you only have to adult. You know what, Margaret? You only really have to adult 4 days a week. You can unadult the other 3, but you probably want to schedule them. So it's not like, oh, it looks like today wasn't the day I was adulting. No, you don't want to look back on your day and go, well, tomorrow I'll try to do better. That's like totally how most of us do it.
I don't want to stop this, but are you watching the time?
Oh,
we have to.
Okay, cool. Let's see, it's still recording and it doesn't give us a timer. I'd say we're at 35 or 45 minutes though. Okay. So guys, that was your sample.
Okay, can we just,
do you have one more question?
Okay, well, let me just see. Let me just check in.
Thank you, though. I like that. I don't want to repeat myself too many times.
I don't know. Just, I'm getting like, do you get like any power animal for me or something like that? That's what I'm kind of getting.
That's hilarious that you should ask that. Because just at this moment, I was imagining a nest of bluebirds in that tree. Not blue jays, like total, like Disney
all over my house. I mean, like little porcelain.
Very innocent.
You know,
family
like
birds.
Happy bluebird of happiness things.
Yep.
You know.
And it's like, so I was seeing like a family of bluebirds.
Oh, okay.
So that was cool. Like
okay,
in a nest.
Okay, you catch, bluebird catching.
Yeah. I'd say, well, maybe metaphorical bluebirds are okay.
Yeah.
They won't be going outside to that particular orange tree. So yeah, that, just as you asked about the power animals, I got these like this family of bluebirds kind of parked in. Which branch were we talking about? It's kind of parked. So one of the branches, the branch that's right here, is the whistleblower book branch. And then this branch was sort of like your pleasure/readings branch. So and yet I know that these guys are related. So maybe it's just coming right back. Maybe it's coming back to that idea that as you become more empowered and then your book is finished and published and doing well and giving people that real sign that you don't have to be a targeted individual forever, for instance, if somebody's going through that, or if they're sick or they're feeling rejected, they don't have to go through that forever.
They don't have to be alone and know that other people, are there that go through this, and to have courage and give them courage. It takes a lot of courage to go through a whistleblowing situation.
Yeah, so I guess we shouldn't be so coy. Margaret is writing a book about her experiences as a whistleblower. Is there anything else you want to say about it, or shall we just let that be?
I was in Philadelphia and with all the corruption, and they really went after me in a pretty cruel and dangerous way for a lot of years, and I'm coming out of it. And one of the ways for me to do that is to write the book. And and I've
talk about winning
through this process. I've learned how common this really is, and it can just I was just living in my house minding my own business. It can happen just anybody.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And it's frightening when people hear about the kind of hardships that others are going through. It can also make those people feel like a pariah. Like people don't want to get too close to them. They don't know if it's going to rub off. And this truthiness thing's going to rub off.
Truthiness. Oh my gosh.
My friends are like, All
Right.
right. Well, so on this channel, and if you keep knowing me, you also can, is there a way people can subscribe to you or like get to know you or get to know your work? Is there a page?
Well, I just started this page on Facebook called Loving Yourself Deeply Heals All. Okay.
Loving yourself deeply
Yeah.
heals all.
Like
Okay, I
for
love
me,
that.
like being a target, I was called the most hated woman in Philadelphia, and you know, everybody pretty much turned on me. And so getting past that in my healing process, you know, loving myself, and you know, that's what I teach my clients and help them in healing their process too, is the number one thing is really to love yourself. And that's what she's doing. You know, she's like helping people get in touch with what they love, which is their genius, really, right?
It's
It's
where you
like
thrive.
you gotta go through the avenue of self-love to get to your genius, right?
Yeah.
And
This is totally why you should contact me and order one, because doesn't this look like
yeah, like really, like everybody,
fun?
this is what the world needs. As an astrologer, I can attest to that. I won't go into astrology details, but this is really a time to like develop your heart, and that is the road to your genius. And Adrienne here can, you know, get a genius session with her. And
It's called Your Genius Session. It's a page on Facebook. And
yeah,
your page is Loving Yourself Fully.
deeply loving yourself heals all.
Heals all. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed watching our sample, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.
Margaret Motherall and Adrienne Prince.
Yay,
Okay.
you already know us.
All right. Thank you.
All right.